Hi, my name is Catherine Gloston, and this is my Module 4 presentation titled Challenges and Opportunities, Hurdles to Innovation and Potential of Emerging Technologies. So in my presentation, I'm going to cover four main areas. The first thing is some background information on my workplace, Concordia Lutheran School, also known as CLS. Then I'm going to talk about the challenges at CLS, opportunities at CLS, and then finally, the emerging tech. So first, some background about CLS. So Concordia Lutheran School is a non-public school located in Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. We service grades pre-K 3 through 8th grade. We have one class per grade level, which each class has one teacher with the exception of our pre-K 3-4 class, has a teacher and a teacher assistant. Our middle school students are one-to-one with iPads, while elementary students have access to Chromebooks. However, they are not one-to-one. And our school has Promethean boards in every classroom, as well as our two libraries. Next up, the challenges at CLS. So the Consortium for School Networking designed a driving K-12 innovation framework that contained hurdles, accelerators, and tech enablers for the year 2021. In the resource, they discussed three top hurdles or challenges in the K-12 classrooms. The first hurdle listed is digital equity. Now, digital equity involves more than access to devices. It also encompasses knowledge and skills to use technology for learning, interaction with content and programs, and meaningful opportunities that empowers learning. At CLS, we are facing these challenges with digital equity. Although our middle school classrooms are one-to-one with our iPads, our elementary students are not. Also, some students don't have access to technology at home. So many students, they do not know how to use their technology properly, and they tend to play games and search for social media sites when they do have access to their technology. They fail to realize that their tech device has an additional purpose, such as learning. So many teachers, because the kids get off track, many teachers, they fail to create meaningful opportunities with their technology devices. So next is scaling and sustaining innovation. So the Consortium for social networking stated that adapting what is working well at a small scale and to scale that across the board. And then they also stated that it was good to embrace the transformation of practices and culture. So at CLS, we're facing both of these challenges. So although the other challenges noted by COSN in this area, we found that our Google Classroom, along with its many features, they work well in our middle school classroom. However, our elementary students, our elementary teachers, and our staff and our students, they have a difficulty with adapting to the use of Google Classroom and the features that are contained therein, such as Google Meet, Jamboard, and Google Docs, or even Google Slides. So we're working to implement more days wherein our elementary students will work with Google Classroom and the features so that they can adapt to using it, and our teachers can curtail it to the level of understanding. Also, our school faces the problem of embracing transformation of practices. So many of our teachers are what I call old school. All right. They love the pencil and paper method, and they fail to embrace the transformation to digital learning. So that definitely is a challenge for our teachers. Now, the third hurdle is the evolution of teaching and learning. So Colson noted that it involves uh, that schools should ensure that teaching practices and pedagogies intentionally integrated advances in technology and learning sciences. So they stated that this is where professional development is key. So this is definitely a challenge for CLS at this time, because we have many teachers who don't even use the technology, or if they do use the technology, they don't have, it's not an intentional use. It doesn't have a learning intention behind it. All right. It's more of like an accident where they come across something that a student doesn't understand, and like, hey, let me do this quizzes, or hey, let me do this Kahoot. And it wasn't, and they didn't really intend to use the technology in the beginning. So it was never really planned. And then professional development is really key. as we're working on implementing more professional development throughout the upcoming school year. Last school year, we hardly had any professional development involving technology, except for a professional development that I actually did, wherein the teachers became familiar with the use of Google Classroom. And unfortunately, at that time, many teachers weren't receptive, and their mindset wasn't that great. They weren't actually in a growth mindset at that time. Here's a picture of the EDUCAUSE list of top IT issues. Although this list is geared more towards higher education, I found it useful when thinking about IT issues at Concordia. So after reviewing the list and information by EDUCAUSE, I found CLS is currently in an evolve phase. We know that restore is not an option as the pandemic is not over. And we know that we still have hurdles to overcome. So going back to how we were before the pandemic is not in our best interest. We need to be prepared for a new normal, and technology is a part of that new normal. As such, we're evolving, and these issues are definitely challenges we're facing. So the evolve phase involves student success, equitable access to education, online learning, information security, and financial health. We face those challenges as we are working to correct student success by revising our curriculum. We are also working to get more tech devices for our elementary students. We're implementing more days of online learning and taking days wherein we would be physically in school. We're actually turning those into virtual school days, regardless of our status with the pandemic, wherein our students will work asynchronous or synchronous to become familiar with our online learning management system. In the event that we have a total virtual event, this way, with that, we'll be able to make sure that our teachers are getting feedback about areas where our students need assistance to improve their online learning. Our information security system currently it's in a good posture. However, we're always looking for ways to make sure that we are defending our and protecting our students' personal identifiable information. Then financial health. In CLS, it's very important for us to partner with other areas and businesses and organizations because we're a non-public school. And with that being said, we definitely need outside funding for certain things. So whether that's partnering with a business or doing fundraisers, financial health is a big issue that we are always facing. Although I find that we're in this evolve phase, many of the issues in the evolve phase are actually similar to the restoration. So we take both of those phases very, very seriously. And it's something that we definitely are working towards. So next up is opportunities at CLS. And Brian Tracy, he stated, welcome the challenges. Look for opportunities in every situation to learn and grow in wisdom. So here are some opportunities. So in the professional development, we need to implement more technology integration, professional developments throughout the year. Remember, I stated that we hardly had any professional developments. So a big opportunity would be to definitely implement more technology-based professional developments. Accessibility and equity. We need to work to be one-to-one throughout the entire school year and to ensure that our students actually have access to devices outside of school. Next is training all our stakeholders. So we shouldn't just be focusing just on the students and the teachers, but we should actually involve the parents and guardians so that when the students go home, parents and guardians have the ability to help their students with their work. They have that knowledge. So they know if the work is online, then they'll be able to assist the students with it. If they're lacking the knowledge and skills, then that makes it even harder for the students to be successful in online learning. So by implementing like a tech night for parents and students, the parents, they're able to get more involved with their students' education. Next is creating digital content. So we need to be more creative and not just focus on what has already been created, but create content specific material for our students that integrates technology. And then there's gamified learning. So this goes along with creating the digital content. So the students, they love games, and they tend to think of games when they're actually working with their tech devices, such as their iPads and their Chromebooks. So if we create or we use games that involve meaningful opportunities, we're engaging and ensuring they are learning. So next is is our emerging tech. And that kind of goes along with the gamified learning notion that I just said in our opportunities. So here's two emerging techs, which is artificial intelligence and augmented reality. So artificial intelligence is a wide-ranging branch of computer science concerned with building smart machines capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence. AI is an interdisciplinary science with multiple approaches, but advancements in machine learning and deep learning are creating a paradigm shift in virtually every sector of the tech industry. Then the other one is augmented reality. So, augmented reality, or AR, is an experience where designers enhance parts of users' physical world with computer generated input. Designers create inputs ranging from sound to video, to graphics to GPS overlays, and more, and digital content which responds in real time to changes in the user's environment, typically movement. So here's some examples. All right. And one, I'll go over them really briefly. But for artificial intelligence, we have things like Duolingo. All right. And that's that language learning tool that leverages AI to deliver a placement exam. It alters questions based off of responses. There's Brainly. It's a social network where learners can actually collaborate. So the students, they deliberate on matters regarding their assignments and new ideas. And there's this learning machine that gives that can quickly identify spam and irrelevant content, so it helps provide them more customized resources. There's Thinker Math, and it's an AI based resource that assists students in learning math. So there's tons of games and awards that motivate the students, boost their engagement. But what happens is it provides this learning schedule that's informed by the pupils' knowledge. So basically, the schedule is based off of what the students know. And then there's Third Space Learning, and it's an online learning platform. And what happens in there, excuse me, is that it picks up on the mannerisms of the educator and the learner. And so then they're able to talk about like loss of learning or loss of interest. And the augmented reality side, there's things like Photomath, and with Photomath you can scan a math problem, and it walks through how to actually solve it through these animation. There's Merge Cube, which basically you kind of hold and view and rotate this virtual cube, and it gives you this interactive way to learn about geometry. There's Chem 101 AR, and so basically, it breaks down complex compounds, and they can view like the molecular structures virtually. Then there's things like 360 Cities and Time Looper. And that's basically where the kids can do these virtual visits to sites worldwide. So some of the things that I would like to use at CLS as far as emerging tech would be more on the AR side. And the three things that I liked is the augmented field trips. So there is a site, it's called virtualfieldtrips.org. And there you're able to basically do virtual field trips. There's breakout rooms, and there's breakout EDU. And so I found that was a good spot to think about with your breakouts. And then there's the scavenger hunts. And I found this cool one. It's called AR Scavenger Hunt. And they can go on these scavenger hunts, and you can customize them, you can build them, you can create them, or you can browse for ones that's already done. But there are different types of scavenger hunts. So those are three AR items that I would love to use. And even though I'm a math teacher, I think that it can be adjusted for any subject. So in conclusion, I believe that some of the things that Concordia, that I would like to implement at Concordia, is basically taking our challenges to develop opportunities for improvement, using the tech to its full potential, involving all stakeholders, and working to involve and transform and not restore. So here's my references that I use throughout my presentation. And I would like to thank you all for all your time, and I welcome any feedback. Thank you so much and have a great day.